Good morning.
What's up, dude? How's it going?
I'm chilling, bro. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. I've got my knee all iced up and elevated for right now because I spent the whole day on it. But I fucked my shit up pretty good. I don't think anything's torn, but it's not in great shape. It's
Fuck.
extremely swollen above the knee, and there's a pretty good bruise like all the way around in the back, which is
Where did
awesome.
where did he pop you?
Like maybe an inch below the hinge of the
Ah,
knee, right on the side. So,
ah.
like, the thing you really worry about when you get hit with a piece of aluminum is fucking splitting like the patella. Like, it's probably one of the only really bad things that can happen. Like, you could probably crack an elbow if you really swung hard with a heavier sword, but the only injury that like I'm afraid of is a split patella. Uh, it doesn't. This happened like twice in Dog Brothers, and once was like way back. Um, but yeah, dude, I didn't really register it at the time. Like I registered it. I was like, oh, that's gonna hurt, but it just like it was the second fight of the day, so I was like, well, life is life. Get on with it. And so we did a bunch more matches, and then we had lunch. So we like sat around for a little while, had a couple of beers, and then we were like, all right, let's do a few more. And I did one fight, and then I could tell something was wrong. I was like, uh oh, that's not good. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna do one more right now. It was like somebody fucking put on a mask. Like I got one more before this
I
thing
got
shuts
6 minutes.
off. Yeah. I was like, this thing's it's shutting down now, and I want to get one more. And as I was standing there waiting, I started going like jelly leg. It really started to hurt, and I was like, oh, that's the end of the adrenaline. Like my body's
Damn.
done. There's a point where like, yeah, it's gonna. I assume if you were in mortal terror, like if you were in real mortal terror, your body might have one more, but like there's a point where it will stop the adrenaline dumps and be like, dude, you've done this like 8 times. You need to cut the shit.
Yeah, one of my last bar fights was like that. It was like 30 fucking people fighting like
Yeah.
60 people. So me and all my guys are literally running into the club, fucking people up, grabbing them, throwing them out, running in. The first couple, if I got hit, I didn't feel it. But by I think literally the 8th person, some guy punched me in the nuts, and I was like, oh, I felt that one. Like I can feel things. I'm tired now. Like all my adrenaline was dumped, and I was just exhausted immediately. What is that, cortisol, right?
Yeah. Yep. That's funny. Yeah, I got to that point and I couldn't stand. I literally like I didn't have to sit straight on the ground, but I like got to the fence so I could put my back against something and just sat. So like that's it. Done for now.
Were you wearing just soft pads on the knee or nothing, right?
No, I don't wear anything. Yeah, I don't wear anything
I
usually.
don't wear anything. Sorry, bro. I bought knee pads. I bought elbow pads.
I'm thinking about I'm thinking about starting to wear something soft on that knee. I had my ACL done on that one a long time ago.
Oh, come on, dude.
Oh yeah. Yeah, no, that one's the middle third of my patella tendon is actually my ACL on that leg. They don't do it that way really anymore. Sometimes they take it from the other leg, but I had two options. I had a cadaver ACL, and I was like, dude, I don't want dead guy in me. If I need a heart, if I need like a heart or a lung or something, like, okay, I'll take a dead guy's, but I don't want dead guy bits scattered throughout my body. It's fucking weird, man. So, but I haven't really I've fucked it up playing rugby a couple of times, but I'm not very big, and that's like car crashes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I trashed myself a little bit playing that game, but I could tell right away it wasn't like oh shit, I blew out my XYZ. It was like this is gonna hurt for a while. Like, it's all right, but it's gonna hurt for a while. I have like all right range of motion. I got about this.
Ah.
I can go
Are you
all the way.
heat as well?
Huh?
Are you doing heat as well?
I haven't been really. No.
Bro,
Heat. Okay.
ice for 5 minutes, heat for 5 minutes, just go back and forth like 4 or 5 times. It's
Okay.
probably actually it's not too late. If you're still inflamed, just I would do like get really hot water, dip a towel in it, and then wrap that around your leg and then just keep going with the ice and the heat. But your inflammation should go down immediately. We do that in jiu-jitsu, and sometimes you see things that go from giant and puffed up to looking back to normal within the next day or two.
Okay.
Ice and heat is like the miracle of sports science.
I'll have to give that a shot after we get off here. I'm gonna do one more cycle before I go to work. So and then obviously like immediately next day I was like, well, I can either call out like a little pussy or I can go to work. So I went to work and I kind of like showed it to people. They were like, are you good? I'm like, yeah. I have a simple like sleeve with strap kind of brace, and that's fine. I mean, like I said, I could tell I didn't like I didn't do like surgery damage to it.
Thank God, dude.
I just have a pretty evolved scale of fucked up. Like I've hurt myself pretty good more than once. So I'm like, oh, okay, where are we at here? It's tough to tell in the moment. Like I didn't know, I wasn't sure that day because it no longer worked. It was done for the rest of the day. I knew it was kind of fucked up like right away, and I just kind of was like, well, let's just keep going because it didn't like shut down on me. Well, if you really smash someone in their peroneal nerve on the outside of your leg, it fucking shuts you down immediately. But then it's like good to go.
That's where you hit the big guy, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that's your peroneal nerve. And that happens with leg kicks in in fighting sometimes is eventually you'll kill the guy's leg through smashing his peroneal nerve. But it wasn't like that. It was definitely just like a sheer impact with the hard ass weapon. That's one of the issues with going with a newer guy. So that guy Ty that I was fighting, he's pretty talented. His martial arts ability is really good, but he's reasonably new to sparring hard. Like I definitely hit him harder when we do stuff, and I definitely cause his anxiety level to go up a lot, which is funny to me because I'm not an intimidating size person. So it kind of cracks me up when people are like a little afraid of me. I'm like, you haven't even seen why you should be afraid yet. Like, you don't even know. But he's a tough kid. But I just but all those guys, with the exception of Ben's his own thing. But all those guys, like they ramp up. That kid I did that double stick fight with, that's not how you want a double stick fight. I was standing right in front of that fucker and we were just smashing each other. He definitely got the worst of it. I have a couple little like bruises. He had a couple of bleeding stick hickeys.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Nice.
I'll send you a picture because he put it on his Instagram. He has like fucking stripes under here from me doing. So I'll show you. I'm gonna give you the background of like basic double stick fighting and stuff. Some of this stuff you'll know. You've done Sinawali, right? A little bit.
Barely. Like my Heaven 6 is really shitty.
You know what it is. You know what I mean? Like you. So the guy I worked with yesterday, I had to explain a lot of stuff, but we'll probably cover some decent ground. So with that guy, I would basically, put my roof block up there and he'd swing it a couple of times. And when that happens, you lift your arm all the way up and it exposes your side. But anyway, with those guys, especially once we had already sparred and met each other once, they were ramped up pretty good. So it's kind of like rolling with a white belt with like 3 stripes who's and then but you're like, you know, a full blue belt, or you know, maybe with a couple of stripes, and they're a little ramped up for it. It's not as spastic as like a first day collegiate wrestler or something, but
Yeah,
it's still like they're just dangerous enough to try shit that's gonna hurt you, if that makes sense. And then
yeah.
you know, that's who accidentally injures people most of the time. Although I will say, like 4 weeks into jujitsu, we were doing what is it? Not Seanagi. Fuck. Why can't I remember the name?
Oh, I'm so bad with the names of the throws because I'm so tall that I can't use any of them. I only do like Osotogaris and Sasais.
Yeah. Now it was one of those like the guy shoots in on you and you go back and kind of put your knee across and roll back and roll over and you're in mount. I forget the fucking name of it.
I tried that.
Doesn't matter. Anyway, my coach and I were rolling, and he likes, after he teaches something, he's gonna fucking hit you with it in rolling like 5 times. And so we started from the feet, and I tried to like juke him and then come in from an angle to at that point I didn't know takedowns really to the degree I do now. It was more of like a rugby tackle, and I just impaled myself on his knee and broke like broke 2 ribs. And unfortunately, I impaled myself on his knee. He completes the move and comes in a mount on top of me, and I was like, and I kind of like right away I was like, get up, and he got off of me, and I was like, oh, just broke my ribs. And he was like, ooh, he goes, yeah, the air went out of you kind of hard. And I was like, yep, gotta go, time to go.
Deuces.
Like, I'll see you in 8 weeks or so. And I came back. When I came back, he was like, didn't think we were gonna see you again. And
yeah.
I looked at him and I was like, you didn't listen when I came in here. Like, I had showed him a video of me just getting pummeled by a dude who was a purple belt. Once he got me on the ground, he just wouldn't let me up. He didn't try and submit me once, just wouldn't let me up, and was fucking beating the shit out of me. And I showed it to this guy my first day, and I was like, how much is a gi? And he started laughing. He was like, well, do you want to do like the, I'll give you a free intro class. I was like, I didn't ask for free intro class.
I'm here, bro.
Yeah, come on, let's do this. I did the same thing when I came here with Malapet. So I watched like one class on it. Yeah, sign me up. They're like, do you want to do a free one? And I was like, no, why? This is where I'm going to train now. But yeah, I mean, that was.
This is where I'm going to train now.
Yeah, this is where I'm going to train now. That was 2016 when I started doing jiu-jitsu, and man, it changed a lot. It changed a lot of my fighting. And even if like I don't use it for a submission, just being able to climb on, like, okay, I'm on the bottom, not that big of a deal. Even unless you're way better than me, even in mount, like,
I'm okay.
Oopa, motherfucker. And now I'm on top. Like, now you're in big trouble. That's always in my head. As soon as I start to sweep, I literally say the phrase, and now you're in big trouble. Like when Billy Madison gets the fucking dog and he just looks at those kids and he just goes, now you're all in big trouble.
So I used to have this thing in the nightclub. My friend just called me the other day to laugh with me about it. I used to put everyone to sleep, and I would tell them, just to be nice, tap when you feel it. And it was an instinct from jujitsu. Literally, I was in the nightclub, like choking some dude in a real fight. Just, all right, bro, tap when you feel it. And my friend would always look at me like, bro, we're in the club. And I'm like, oh, fuck, sorry. Good night.
Yeah, good night. I don't care if you tap or not. You're going to sleep.
Yeah.
That's easier if you're asleep. Let me find my little sticks. They're somewhere around here because I'm going to be sitting for a lot of this. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Where are my little sticks? Little sticks, where are you?
So, to be honest with you, I'm not so interested in stick fighting with double stick. But if I know how to use double stick, then I can do
Both
I can use
hands.
both my hands. Espada and Daga is going to be better. If I just use left-handed stick, I'm going to be a bit better. And now I watched a video of the Krabi Krabong with 2 swords, and I was like, yo, that's the most gangster thing ever. So I'm ordering some swords, bro.
You got a couple of dot. Did you order like what kind did you get?
I'm ordering the aluminum ones from Killsport.
Oh, cool.
Or Bloodsport.
Yeah, awesome. Those are good. Nick has good stuff, and it's like he doesn't carry anything you can't beat the fuck out of.
That's awesome.
Cool. Yeah,
I love the kit, dude.
If you want, yeah, it's pretty cool, man. I wish that like he didn't have that when I started. Me
either. He just released this like a month ago or something. Like when I met you, that was the thing.
Okay. All right. So the whole thing with double stick, I sort of explained quick and dirty yesterday that dual wielding equal swords isn't really a thing in history anywhere but Thailand. Like I have 2 long swords. That's not, number one, it's not how long swords work. Number 2, you'd definitely rather have a shield. Like, definitely.
Yeah.
There are possibly, cases of somebody showing off or, maybe on a battlefield you pick up a second sword for a minute or something, but it's not the most ideal way because you can really, a couple of exceptions. It's fucking martial arts, so there's exceptions to everything. But for the most part, you can sort of only hit with one hand at a time. And most of us fucking hairless monkeys are going to grab with our good hand and do this. And what we want is something to put up like that. All you really need, even just putting my hand out here, I'm shutting down a lot of the line, right? Like, and then you add buckler, covers that much more. I've done a lot of experimental shit with bucklers, including, stick and sword fighting and whatever. And it definitely is not, it's not like a great shield, but it makes it like, once you start getting into it, like it makes sense. You get it on your hand and you're like, all right, I know what to do with this. But when it comes to 2 equal weapons, basically only the Thais did it. Musashi talks about the 2 swords. His swords were a long one and a short one.
Exactly, and a very short one at that.
Yeah. It was essentially Japanese Espada Daga is what he was doing. And that's, it was common in Europe, especially once it came to the later like Renaissance era. You had a lot of dueling with, rapier and a parrying dagger or something like that. But I mean, it's, you can find it.
Did you just call it a parrying dagger?
Yeah.
Never heard of that. I'm gonna have to see one of those.
There's daggers for parrying. There's other names for them, like ethnic ones, like main gauche or whatever is the French one. But it would basically be like a dagger with a fucking handguard, like the rapier would have.
Okay.
Because if you like, all my sharp stuff is behind me. I was like, well, I don't have anything with much of a handguard. I mean, my K-bar has probably got the biggest.
I actually used the fence when I was a kid.
Yeah. So like, if you think of a knife, for the most part, like, there's not much protecting you. A cross guard on a sword is fairly protective, even though it's just it's just the quillins are just like an X. It still saves you to a degree, whereas on a knife, like, there's nothing, man. Even like I said, my K-bar has some hand protection, but almost nothing else that I use does. So like, you wouldn't want to like block a sword full with just
gonna slice your fucking fingers off.
Deflecting or shedding, like I kind of showed in the Spotty Daga stuff, like that's a good use of it against the sword, but I wouldn't like want to full on block. But anyway, so in Filipino martial arts, I think the real double stick stuff mostly comes from the sport. You know what I mean? It comes from arnis. So like, I don't know if you're aware, of the three sort of blanket terms, arnis, eskrima, and kali, you can sort of widely break it down into kali, the term kali mostly being sort of blade oriented styles, eskrima being like sort of the mixed blade and stick, and then arnis being almost entirely stick. Yeah. So obviously like there's crossover and whatever, like that's not hard and fast, but you can sort of like, if someone says they do arnis, they probably do like either modern arnis or lightning arnis or one of those, and it's going to be the sport version of stick fighting. And like they do or sorry, arnis is the national sport of the Philippines. They don't say kali, they say arnis. So when you think about things like that, you have to consider that they're doing it for kind of different reasons. So when they focus on just the stick, some of the technique stuff doesn't apply the same way to the swords. But I think that's, you know, the stick is sort of where the double stuff comes in a little more. They do double sword demos and things, but it's just not that practical. It's way more practical to have a shield in your other hand or a shorter weapon. But we have it. So
Question for you real quick.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you before I forget. Have you ever seen people using actual shields in Dog Brothers other than bucklers?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
because I'm looking at buying a Spartan shield and a fucking Copus already. So
so yeah. Nick has gotten his hands on riot shields of a couple of different sizes and shapes. So I've used a round strapped riot shield, which is similar to like a Greek shield but smaller. Similar in that it's strapped to the arm like this, as opposed to being Viking style would be like a center grip. And it changes how you use it immensely. The difference between that, the center grip and an actual strap shield, changes a lot.
I've never used the grip. I've used riot shields before, and it's always been the one that you put your hand through, and then there's a little finger groove at the end.
Yeah. So it just, you know, like I said, tactics and techniques change a bit as you go from one to the other, but it's not like the concepts of put shield between you and other guy, strike around shield. Strike around shield. You could see me doing that to a degree in those stick and buckler fights. I was using that buckler in a far more historical manner than I would in a stick fight, because I was treating the sword as a sword. A stick is a stick and a sword is a sword. You know, like you use the same angles, but there are certain things that just one fits in one place and the other fits in the other, and they don't really go together. So with a buckler and stick, the buckler and stick, I generally find myself holding the buckler back here and fighting out here, and just using the buckler to cover my head and occasionally step in or occasionally pop up and block. But in the stick, in the sword and buckler, I was using it as it's properly supposed to be used. Shutting down lines by putting it in front. See how just by extending my hand, how much I just have to move around a little bit, and I've closed off a lot of your options. Plus, you use it to protect your hand. The buckler was a civilian weapon. It wasn't so much of a military weapon. And it came into being in a time when people wouldn't have been wearing gauntlets like around town, but you would in war. You really, 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 really want to protect your hands. It's a big deal, and it's a real target in a fight. If you don't protect your hands and you get your hand cut bad, that's it. You can't hold a weapon anymore. So you have to protect them. In Filipino martial arts, and part of what I do and we're gonna talk about that with the double sticks. I move my fucking hands. I don't leave my hands in one place because people will hit them.
That's awesome.
It's just a thing. People will hit you in the hands. So everything's a target. If it's close to me, I'm gonna smack it.
Yeah.
So the buckler was almost like a mobile gauntlet that you could use to protect your sword hand as you hit out. Because you have to extend your hands. You know what I mean? You have to throw with a sword.
Okay. Yeah, I noticed that you're like almost protecting your hand. I thought that was so strange.
I was. That's how you use a buckler. Like if you see a lot of the buckler plays in this.
I think mine gets delivered tonight.
Yeah. That's hilarious. Ryan wanted a copy. See, a lot of the buckler plays, he's blocking the sword with the sword, right? The buckler is not blocking, but he's covering it because the next plate is wrapping his arm over. So that was the buckler was there just in case, but it was there to protect his hand. And then he would overwrap and do whatever. But
okay, yeah, I see.
Yeah. Because otherwise you're gonna get hi Loki. I got my cat loaded on catnip this morning. He's just laying on the floor next to me, like
I've only seen that in person a couple times and it's been truly amazing.
It's pretty funny. They all kind of react a little different. He's not, some of them go berserk. He goes crazy for a few minutes on his scratching thing, like rubbing his face on it, but then he'll just lay on the ground all comatose.
Oh, I'm probably like an asshole. I have lasers on my gun, so I would get high and then get the cat high and then point lasers everywhere and watch that thing go nuts.
Oh yeah, he likes shining light on the wall or lasers or whatever, but he rolls around on the floor typically after a good solid nipping.
That's what I do. I'm going to smoke this joint right now, and then I'm going to roll around on the floor for a minute, and then we're good for the fight.
All right. Well, if that's what we're doing, then
this is being recorded, right? Good.
Yeah, it's fine. We'll maybe this one I'll just put on Google Drive and save for you if you want. If you want. Oh, I started a YouTube thing yesterday, so
yes.
I'm gonna start dumping.
Perfect. Like I said, man, if you need help, like just getting little clips of certain things, let me know, and I'm happy to like find specific. Like if you want, I'm looking for when I did this takedown and I used this buckler. I have all day to look at videos and shit.
Okay, I've got a couple of people that have told me I should really put together some highlight clips. So I need to just compile a bunch of video and then figure out how to put them together so that they work. And then
if you send me a bunch of shit on the drive, I can start at least making you the clips, and then we can kind of, like I said, if you need it, if you want the help, I'm happy to help you with it.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Well, anyway, so I'll just start with a little bit of the basic overview of fighting stances and structures with the double stick. One major thing that I've sort of started to realize, because double stick isn't my normal focus. I just do it because it's kind of part of things. One thing I've noticed is the more I like started going into this, the more material I actually have. So if you're kind of only interested in the basics of it, we don't have to go crazy, but it's definitely good to know because it teaches you the bilateralism. That's Mark Denny's term. I don't know. I mean, I don't think he invented the word, but he's the one that uses it. Bilateralism, basically being ambidextrous with sticks. I kind of differentiate, just like with my single stick or my stick and knife. I differentiate between my collie structure and my Krabi structure, and now you've left. So I'm talking to myself. So we're just gonna wait till you come back. And I'm probably gonna hit this fucking thing again. Oh, there you are.
Dude, sorry about that.
That's all right. I was having a conversation with myself for a second.
Nice. Last thing I heard was stance and the word double stick.
Okay, cool. Well, basically, just like just like with my single stick game, I differentiate and shift between two structures, kind of a more collie based structure and a more Krabi based structure. And you know, both of those have they both have their benefits. They both have their, you know, perceived weaknesses, and they both are able to be blended in and out with one another. So if I'm doing like a more collie kind of base structure, I'm typically moving my hands around like that, and I'm circling. I'm doing this kind of stuff.
Okay.
More Krabi based structure. For me, I'll put this hand up here sometimes. Other times I'll have it here, but it's usually somewhere in this region, and then this one's out front. Sometimes this one moves around. Sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it's throwing strikes. Sometimes it's just kind of probing, or it can be the shield.
Okay.
So your front hand can be the shield. So that's a big thing. It's part of why I harp on the shield thing, is that most of the time you're going to be blocking and hitting. So everybody from the fucking Zulus to you know, Norman Knights to every Asian except for the Japanese, everybody all over the fucking world uses shields. Native Americans use shields. Everybody. Shield, hitty thing. Shield and hitty thing, or actually, shield and stabby thing is really like shield and spear. Everyone in the entire fucking world figured that out. It's
Yeah.
kind of like the bow and arrow. Everybody figured out, okay, stab him. Well, he's all the way over there. All right.
Take a string on your stick.
Yeah, and then we'll stab him from over here while he's over there. Like, that's everyone figured that out. So sometimes you block and hit, you know what I mean? I use kind of a hybrid idea of Lonely Dog's basic theory of the weapon in the front, and I do this similarly with the buckler, but the weapon in the front is doing most of the work. This is doing most of the work, whether it's blocking or striking or whatever. And this one is here to block and cover this line, and then to step in and strike with just like a traditional Krabi Krabong kind of strike. Doesn't always work that way. Sometimes you strike without the step. Sometimes you know, things change, but I like to transition between those two structures. One, because it keeps your enemy guessing, and two, because they're both like, I'm comfortable out of both of them. Most people don't do that so much. They'll have one sort of way that they're comfortable. The dude that I fought this weekend fought like a boxer. He literally put his hands up like this. That's kind of uneducated. We're going to talk a little bit about like open versus closed positions with your hands, but he fought kind of like this.
I saw that, yeah.
Almost square. He could do this really hard. Like, he was swinging hard. He deserved everything I did to him. Hey, you come out. Just because your hardest isn't as hard as my hardest doesn't mean I don't know you're throwing your hardest.
Yeah, 80%.
You know what I mean? And 80%. So like, yeah, I was like, all right, I'm gonna give you a little more than you're giving me, because you came out blazing. I was like, all right, dude. Well, in the end, we'll see.
My car's faster.
Yeah.
You want to race?
Either that, or my car's got a ram on the front of it, and I'm just gonna go, all right, fucker, bam.
That's the spirit.
Guardrail. Yeah. Oh yeah. He even got all the way to we ended up closing. I don't remember how it happened, and there's only video of that middle part of the fight. But he ended up closing, and I ended up getting him on the ground and doing death from above with the puño.
Nice.
It's just like, you got the full experience. But anyway, so first thing to kind of do is coordinate the striking with both hands. So we're gonna do that asterisk footwork, right? So you step forward with the right foot, cut forehand, backhand with the right. Left foot, forehand, backhand. Horizontal. Horizontal. And then rising as you go backwards.
Oh,
One,
nice.
2, 1, 2. So that takes us through. So you keep practicing it. I can only do it a couple of times. So that ties together the basic footwork as well as the basic strikes. So, yep. I can't tell. So number one, bring your strikes up a little. So bring your strikes up a little bit, especially your horizontal ones. You're kind of down here. You want to be throwing horizontal, I say, like when for training purposes, throw at your nips.
Okay.
Like right across here, right across the middle of the chest.
All right.
Because that's just the, that sort of gives you the most midline. Because you can throw it anywhere. You can throw it at the head, you can throw it at the knees. But for the purpose of training, throw it around here. And then with your rising shots, think about starting at the hip and ending through the shoulder. I know you have a long distance and it's narrow from there to there, but it also it could be a little bit, yeah, those are better. Yep.
All right. Let me grab a
It's
shorter
tough.
stick.
It's tough at first to like see yourself. But yep. Midline, yep. Midline. Yeah.
And stepping back.
Yeah, stepping back. So
that one is awkward with me for the left.
It is. So when it's awkward. It's awkward for everybody on one side or the other usually.
Good point.
So as you train that, just slow is smooth is fast. You know what I mean? Like the slower you go and the more that you think about the actual planes of movement that you're using, the more you'll kind of grease the groove in the right place, and then the fast comes from doing that. Mm-hmm. Yep. So also for this drill, this is kind of like, think about in boxing, keeping your hands up. You wanna, your stick you're not using, put up towards your shoulders. This stance, well, set this way a little more. So this stance like this is like, this is the more evolved and educated version of what that guy was doing. Where that other guy had his sticks up like this. This is how I do it. A lot of the time I rest one there. I'll put a stick here sometimes. It fucks with people. They think like, I was doing this to the guy when I hit him in the leg. I was resting on my shoulder. Well, I did one like midline, and then I moved the same way, but instead of throwing it at the midline, I just hit him in the leg. But I'll put one there sometimes while this one's doing stuff or as I'm walking around. But this is a good place to rest because you can come off of there pretty easily. So when you do these, you want to keep the other one ready, right? Yeah, that one's gonna be awkward. So that's bolo strike. That first one is the uppercut. So think about it. Yeah, there you go. Your forehand's good. So think about it like throwing an uppercut as the forehand and unsheathing a sword as the backhand.
Okay.
You know, it'll it'll still be awkward for a little bit, but if you can think of those two, yeah, that's also part of why you don't want to throw super hard right away, because you're going to be jamming your shoulders all over the place. Yeah, so the rising shot, it could either be an uppercut or this could be an umbrella block, and this could be a roof block, depending. So when you train it, you can train it that way too, especially if the strikes are awkward. If you're like, I'm never gonna hit someone like this, you can still train the motions with the blocks. I do recommend hitting people like that though. What's that?
I just realized that in the attacking blocks view, I just realized that the bolo is also basically my umbrella, and my back is my roof. So that's
correct.
like
correct.
Danger, bro.
Yeah. Yes, those things. That's how you attack with those blocks. Is they can be both. With with practicing them in the one way, like with practicing them as the blocks, they will get better at being strikes. If that makes sense. But yeah, you can do it either way. But that's one I recommend. Probably, like, if you're gonna do a stick workout, that would be the warm up I would suggest. Do that. Asterisk. Do the asterisk with 2 sticks and go through. Like when I start doing classes in person, that's gonna be the warm up probably for like group class is gonna be that. Right now, I'm lucky because a lot of the people doing my group class are experienced in various ways. So I've got people able to give me feedback and I'm able to just kind of like jump around. I'm doing new stuff all the time. But if I was teaching a group class in person, first 3/4 of every class would be the same, just like it is, in most other arts. Like, all right, we do the warm up, we do the basics, and then, you get like 2 techniques.
Here's today's drill.
Yeah. Whereas right now, I'm trying to run through as much of the material that I know as possible with people so that I can feel more confident doing it. So yeah, this is going to be probably like my number 1 warm up. Well, warm ups would be more like, see, I haven't really gone over any of that stuff with you, but stick warm ups, the first thing I would do is grab the sticks in the middle and start doing these kinds of things, move my hands around, do that kind of stuff. And then I'd switch the outsides and I'd do rolling up, rolling down.
Yeah, I do that before I call with you.
Yeah.
Redondos.
Yeah, exactly. All the different sort of warm up stuff. And I would probably do some asterisk and like sawtooth footwork, but I don't even be fucking space in here, so I just skip it. I assume people are warmed up enough. Besides, as Green Mountain Dog always used to say, you've never seen a lion warm up before he takes down a gazelle, have you? Which I think is Zombieland, but it just cracked me up because it's probably like my 2nd or 3rd gathering, and it was my 3rd because it was the 2nd one where he was my teacher, and I was like warming up and like running and like doing push-ups and getting ready, and Pat's big. He's like 6'2", 6'3", and he's like probably about 240. He's a big dude, and it's very muscular. He's from Vermont, so there's a little bit of padding. He kind of looks like a big old polar bear, but
cornbread.
And he just looks at me and he goes, "What are you doing?" I was like, "Getting warmed up." I'm like, "Get fired up, coach. Put on the foil," kind of thing. And he just looks at me and goes, "You ever seen a lion warm up before he takes down a gazelle?" And I started laughing. I was like, "No." He goes, "Well, there you go." And he walked away. And I was just like, "Okay, all right. I guess I should settle down." I think he was telling me to settle down. But
that's hilarious.
Yeah. So that's Green Mountain Dog. Pat's funny like that. So I wanted real quick before we go into some striking drills, I wanted to sort of say that when it comes to the Kali structure that I use, I move my hands, right? And I do it in one of two ways. Generally, I do inside circles like this. This is something you'll see out of Dog Brothers, guys. Right? I do these inside circles like this.
I've been practicing this all week.
Yeah. So this is a good way to keep your hands moving. And in basically any position your hand is at in this circle, you can strike or block.
Mm-hmm.
You have a pretty good range of motion, and it's also disguising what you're going to do, right? The other option is going outside. So whereas when I'm going inside, I'm sort of keeping, if I had a sword, I'd be keeping the flat pointed at myself like this, and I'm keeping my tip up. I'm not like doing this.
Slicing your arms.
If I was warming up, maybe I'd be doing this, but in a fight, I'm doing this. Exactly. I'm keeping it from pointing at myself, and I'm continuing to menace my opponent with it. I might even be doing like this, where I'm extending my weapon towards the other guy, like that. Lonely Dog has some other patterns. He has what he calls the I pattern, where he does this and the U.
Yeah.
I like a circular pattern. The other option being the outside circles, right? So the outside circles, and this is all, I try as hard as possible to give people credit. This is all Mark Denny's knowledge as far as I know. The outside circles. So the outside circles, I kind of think of them as egg beaters. I don't know why. It just reminds me of egg beaters. When you've got the outside circles, they're both doing the same thing, right? Going up and over like this. Turn your body like that. This one, right, my front hand is coming up and over, and it's cycling like this. And this looks goofy, especially with a little stick. So no wrist. You're limp wristing it. I'm not. I'm doing this. So it's tough to see. Hold on. There we go. Haha. My pasty ass is much, much more visible.
Yeah.
Black. So I'm doing this. There's a little bit, okay, I'm saying no wrist. There's a tiny bit of wrist in there to keep things fluid, but it's mostly
elbow
coming from the elbow. And it's actually coming from the whole body. It's my hips are part of the kinetic chain of the whole thing. So it's going like this, right? And you're trying to basically strike with the tip of your stick like this. So if you were doing it if you're just doing it as part of your snake structure and you're outside the guy, you're moving around, you're not doing it that fast. But when you turn it up, you're able to strike repetitively like that. So we're just moving around like this. So your front hand is coming from above and traveling around like that in a circle. See?
Okay.
Rear hand is also doing a circle, but now the rear hand is coming from underneath. See?
Okay.
So this is your bolo strike. It's a repetitive bolo strike. Yep, exactly. So you're moving like this. You're able to harass them with your front hand and step through with your rear hand.
Okay.
Like that. Now here's where the fucking wizardry comes in. You don't change what you're doing with your hands. Just turn your hips. Like keep doing the circles.
All right, hold on.
So first,
got
do your
circles
hands. Outward circles.
Outside circle.
Yep. And you got the one in front, right?
There we
Keep
go.
the circles. Turn your hips.
Oh man, that threw me off.
Yeah, this is fucking you all up. So just stand square for a minute and just do the outside circles with your hands. Right? Yep, like that. Now turn one hip forward, continuing to do the hands. Right. Now turn the other hip forward. Just turn.
All the way, like switch stance or just?
Yeah. Switch stance. Your hands are still doing the same thing. Right. Yeah, there you go. It's right. So now the reason that that's wizardry is now the other hand is coming from above and this one's coming from below. You get what I'm saying? So depending on which side of your body is going forward, the other hand is doing the same thing.
Right? Yep, I see it.
You're like, so the reason that that's important is if you're fighting someone and you're coming like this and throwing strikes like that, and then you can switch to the other side, you're going to short circuit them because they're expecting a certain thing from a certain quadrant, and you're able to shift back and forth. So that's kind of like, that's not even like second level, that's many levels up the chain of things. That's why it's so goofy to you and your brain hurts right now. I can see it.
Yeah.
But I just thought
the inside circles is cool.
I just thought it was
I definitely get that.
Because this is such a part of just basic movement that when you turn it to the outside, it becomes an offensive tactic. Anyway, so that's like I said, that's kind of like a little farther down the path. So you've done some Sinawali, right? You
Tiny
have
bit,
an idea of 7-6. Okay. So we're gonna get there. And basically I want to I got probably like 45 minutes. So I want to see if I can get to the fighting application of Sinawali, of Heaven 6. Probably won't, but so you're familiar with like open stance, because we were doing an open stance when we were doing those Asters drills, right? When we were putting up to here. That was part of why I was saying, up to your shoulders. So now we're going to go out of a closed position. So a closed position is your sticks on the same side of your body. This is a closed position. If you look at so I have, obviously this weapon is on its side, but this one, because the tip of the stick is to this side of 12 o'clock, it's a closed position. If it was to this side of 12 o'clock, it would be an open position.
I get it. Literally open, closed.
There you go. So for the sake of drills, the way that traditional Filipino martial arts would do it, and it doesn't make sense to me to not do it this way, you'd load up like this. You'd chamber like this. And that's generally how people chamber for Sinawali to begin with anyway. So we're going to go forehand, backhand, backhand, forehand. Yep, and wind up back in the chamber. So
I was doing redondo sticks. My bad, dude. That one.
No, that's all right.
Yeah, no, you're right.
So what we're gonna do? This pattern is asymmetrical. So we're gonna get the Heaven 6 Sinawali is where it becomes symmetrical. This one is asymmetrical. This is 1, 2, 1, 2, but it's working on forehand, backhand, backhand, forehand, forehand, backhand, forehand. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right. Forehand, backhand, backhand, forehand. Forehand, backhand, backhand, forehand. Yep. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right. So what's happening here is your hands are coming out, but they're not crossing when they get back to this side of the body. And then they come back and return to this position. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right. One of the biggest challenges that I've found, I've taught realistically, I've probably taught 10 people that have no fucking idea what to do, how to do Sinawali, at least up to the point where they could do it. I've tried to teach probably 15, but 5 of those fuckers were useless. And I can't help you. If you're totally uncoordinated, I can't help you. But that's also because people will get discouraged. But you're like, when we met, you already had some idea of what was going on. Yeah, so you're doing like the big flashy flowy version of this. Like that would work with if you had fucking fire poi, you could be doing that.
Hell yeah, that would be dope.
So one of my buddies goes to Burning Man and like they do that kind of shit. And I went to a party he had with all his Burning Man friends and they busted those things out and somebody was like, "Hey, you do martial arts. Do you want to try?" And I was like, "Yeah." And so what we're doing right now works. This thing works, right? You won't hate yourself. As soon as you start trying to do regular Sinawali where there's a check and it comes back, the ball of fire comes flying back at your face.
Oh yeah.
I learned that the hard way. I hit myself in the nuts once with the flying ball of fire and I singed a bunch of my hair. So I leave it to the dirty.
How's this one?
Now. So that's Heaven 6 basically. What you're doing right now. That's like standard Heaven 6 in Wally. So that's the next evolution. So that thing we were just doing where it was asymmetrical and we were coming back on the same side of the body. I do
without
that to start.
this one.
Yeah. So I start to do that with people because I want to get them parking the other stick in the right place. People don't do that correctly for some reason. And it takes a lot of people a while to get that down, but you have learned how to do that already. Where I can see you can do it. You're not having a problem with like, well, where does this stick go? Like, motherfucker, I'm showing you. You've got that. You can do it. So that's cool. So we'll jump ahead a little bit on that. So the way to transition, if you're doing the fluid striking with the asymmetrical load, the way that you get to doing it on this side is by making it Heaven 6. You throw that jab and you retract. And now I'm on this side.
Okay,
right?
makes sense.
Right. So that's how I teach people to get from one to the other. But you've got the idea of doing the slash jab. So so we're gonna fuck with that a little bit because this is where this stuff becomes part of fighting. Although the other doing it the way that we were just doing it, 1, 2, 3, 4, where you throw 2 strikes from one side and then 2 strikes from the other side. You can fight like that. If I'm going to do this very gingerly, but I'm going to do it. If we're thinking about the male triangle, I'm going to attack 1, 2, and then come back 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Oh, okay.
2,
Ooh.
3, 4. Right? 1, 2, 3, 4.
I got sticks everywhere.
Yeah. So
Okay.
so starting from one leg of the triangle, you attack up 1, 2, and then come back 3, 4.
Let me write this down real quick.
I'm gonna add that.
Mimi?
I'm gonna add that.
And are you starting that from an off lead stance?
That
confuses me with double stick.
So now off lead isn't a thing.
True, I have 2 sticks. Anywhere I stand is a lead.
Sticks, so it doesn't matter anymore. When I set that up, I'm thinking of it as my opponent is, so say my opponent is my chair. I'm going to exaggerate where I am. So I'm slightly off to this side. My right side is forward. So I'm slightly to my left of him. Right. So now I'm going to come up the triangle. Shit.
Ooh.
So now I'm going to come up the triangle. 1, 2, and then go back out 3, 4. Oh yeah, that didn't want to do that.
Let me see.
Yeah, so that one that's another drill that I'll probably work that right into that, where once we do the forehand, backhand, forehand, I would probably link that with the attacking male triangle. Sorry, I'm just adding that to my notes so that I remember.
All right, cool. I
okay,
gotta kick all that shit out of my way.
I'm gonna grab my water really quick.
Can you actually?
What's that?
Yeah, no problem.
Okay.
No, never mind. It's cool.
Yeah, I'm just gonna grab my water real quick. All right. So that blends the striking and the footwork, right? So those are the two, that combining stick and footwork. There's a reason why Mark has a whole DVD on it, and then he made another one that he called the Snaggletooth Variations, because being able to move is essential to being able to fight. If you can't move, you're screwed. So the guy's just gonna move around you. So yeah, you can do basically any of these things off of that male triangle. All of these back and forth drills work that way. And like if we were in the same place, we would start standing like in front of each other and do these things. But then, we'd get to where we were moving around and doing footwork. And my old teacher and I we'd train on this football field, and we'd start on like, the goal line on one end, and I'd be facing backwards and he'd be facing forwards, and he would run forward doing Sinawali at me, and I'd go backwards. And then we'd get to like, I usually tell people we'd run the whole 100 yards. That's bullshit. I'd fall on my ass eventually. We'd go like 20 yards, and then I'd go down onto one knee, two knees, sit on my butt, lay on my back, continuing to do Sinawali, and then I'd have to get up, sit up, go to one knee, or go to two knees, one knee, stand up, and then I'd go forward, and we'd go back and forth and do that. So that got me really comfortable with the pattern. Although it's something I learned right away. It was probably the first thing I taught myself after like literally just teaching myself this. Like I had to learn this first. But once I could do this, I learned Heaven 6, and then I learned Heaven and Earth. You know Heaven and Earth?
I've tried it a couple of times. That's basically the second one is just blocking downwards, right?
Yeah, it's not, well, so it could be blocking down, but if we were doing it, it would be a cut. So it'd be a cut to the knees. So like back my chair up. So Heaven 6 is slash jab from up high, right? Slash jab. Heaven and Earth is just slash jab slash jab, like that. So it's the same idea, but instead of coming out up high, you're coming out down here. Now I'm all on the wrong side.
Actually, when I first started, go ahead.
Give me one moment. Yeah, I'm probably gonna take it. What's it gonna say? Okay. All right. Be safe. Bye.
Yeah, I think I have Heaven and Earth down. That's how I originally learned it, because it was awkward for me to throw this one up. So it's
right. Okay. So Heaven 6 and Heaven and Earth are sort of basic things that everybody learns. And then there's Earth 6, right? Earth 6 is all low. So this one's weird. And like, we'd do it if we were training. I would do it, but this is fucking worthless. I mean, when I say it's fucking worthless, it's not, because you got to learn to throw low strikes, but like, you're never going to do this like this. So it's low, 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 low. See ya. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
That's awkward.
It is awkward. It's awkward and it looks silly. Like I said, we'd do it, but all right. So those are the 3 basic variations, but there's other ways to do it that work directly into fighting. So Heaven 6 works well against somebody who's fighting like this. Heaven and Earth works better against this guy.
Let me write that down real quick.
Yeah, well, you gotta know why. So Heaven 6. Oh, I was also just reminded I should set up. I need okay. So the reason why Heaven 6 works better against a guy whose sticks are on the same side, and Heaven and Earth works better against this guy, is that hold on one second. Just remind I had to schedule something, and I better do it right now. Yep, right here. Cool. All right. Sorry. We only have one vehicle right now, and I've been riding my bike to work, and I can't.
No, you cannot.
It's 4 miles, which like, oh, dude, it's 15 minutes. It's a sick little bike ride every day. I slap on my headphones and listen to an audiobook or some tunes. I get wicked stoned, and I ride my bike to work. But yeah, it's the top of it's not the down, it's the up of the pedal cycle that's killing me. So
When it gets tight.
Yeah. So I've been taking like an Uber to work, and because of the Rona, they're hard to come by. So if you want one, like, you got to schedule it in advance, which they're good about that. They give you a 15-minute window and they're there. But I forgot, and Heather just reminded me to do it. But anyway, so the fighting application is this. If you've got a guy who's standing in this structure, right? He wants to either hit or block with this one, and this one is waiting to clobber you. Yup, just like that. So your problem that you have to get past is the 2 sticks. What you want to do is first, what are you laughing at?
Oh, I just took a huge chunk of ceiling onto my stick.
Oh, oops. Yeah, we did that yesterday too. I'm using my little guys. So you need to get past this stick and not get brained by this stick. So what Heaven 6 Sinawali does is this stick attacks their front stick, right? This one's a block. So your first stick comes out, hits their stick, right? Top hand.
Let's see. I'm trying to picture it on you while you do it. I'm trying to picture the opposite. But yeah, so I'm going to hit their stick out of the way.
Their stick.
Then their power comes. I'm going to block.
Block. Now backhand. Hit them.
Pop.
Yep. Right. hit their stick, block their stick, hit them. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Right? Yeah. There's footwork involved. That's like a little bit farther down the line, but this is why we're doing Heaven 6, is because you're able to steal a beat on a guy. Because most guys are going like block, hit, block, hit, block, hit. So that's what they might try and do. He's gonna either block or get hit. Minor point, again, this is one of those things where if we're in the same place, if I hit your stick here, it's solid. You can block good. If I hit your stick here, it's going to travel. Leverage. So you blast their stick towards the tip of their stick and knock it out of the way. And if you do this right, like you'll hit a guy's hand like that. Like it'll go, yeah, but you hit here. I mean, if you hit him in the hand, hey, you hit him in the hand. Good job. But if you hit him in the stick, you want to hit far from the hand so that
to deflect it instead of just strike it.
Yeah, the leverage works in your favor that way. So
thank you. That's an awesome tip.
It is. That's a very it makes sense. Like if you know physics intellectually, you go, oh yeah, well duh. But it's like a lost piece of the puzzle that people don't necessarily think about. Oh, okay. So if you want to get that heaven and earth to work, and you try it against this guy, he's gonna fucking clobber you.
Oh yes, because I have no block.
Right? So that works better against this guy. What you're gonna do is you're gonna run to this side of him. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna run away from this. That other one you can go straight into the guy's teeth, right? But this one, you're gonna go when he's got sticks like this. He can only hit like this effectively. Like he can get you like that, but realistically, you only have to worry about this stick. So that's when you attack his front hand and then hit his leg, right? So you come from here, you attack his hand, you hit his leg, and then you get him on the way out.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Attack high line, this makes him react, right? Whether it's his hand or you throw this at his face to make him put his hand there, you're making him react. Then you clip his leg. So you come through here, you clip his leg, which is going to affect his ability to turn around. And then you fire this shot as you're leaving. Right? So you do this one as a drive-by. Yeah. Hey, man, hitting people in the leg works. So
I just hit myself in the leg and it worked.
Come out there, hit him, get him. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I like that. It's like stepping offline to hit him with the last one.
So those are like fighting applications of a thing where people look at you just practicing it and they're like, well, that's a fucking dead pattern. You're just gonna stand there and move your hands like that. Oh no, stupid. This is how we train to learn it. Are you gonna just stand in front of your opponent and throw jab cross like you do at a heavy bag? No. You have to learn learn it. You know what I mean? It has to be fluid.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that's that. The next, so I'm gonna throw a couple more wrinkles of Sinawali, right? So I got a few more minutes. The next sort of little chunk of Sinawali to think about is up to this point, we've done slash, jab, right? So now we want to fuck with the first motion. This one, Green Mountain Dog is a Pakiti Tersha guy, right? He likes things to stay within their fucking proper boxes of the traditional Filipino martial arts, and he likes things to be a certain way. Candidate Buffalo Dog is also part of the Boston crowd, and he's a guru in PTK as well. And he also kind of likes things to be a certain way. But then we have this other guy, Mike, who I got to be pretty good buddies with, aside from him being a student. He's been a student of all three of us at different points. And
nice.
We like to make up fucking it. So Pat's Green Mountain Dog. Pat doesn't want anything to do with Dog Brother Martial Arts. He doesn't really like Mark Denny. He like, if you were to say caveman when you're training with him, he's like, it's number one. I don't give a fuck what Mark Denny calls it. Like he'll, you know what I mean? He's like that. So, you know, I try and be cool about it. Mike doesn't give a fuck. And Mike makes up names beyond that. So like Espati Daga is Spotty Dog. Anytime you throw a reverse
Spotty dog.
Spotty Dog. Anytime you throw a reverse two, it's a lightsaber and you have to go, whoom, whoom. And then this combination we call the gay cowboy, and you'll see why. So from that closed position, probably gets moving my water bottle. From that closed position, you're still attacking out with your front hand, but it's traveling all the way back around your head.
Ooh, the lasso.
Yeah, it's the gay cowboy. The first time Mike's like a bricklayer. Dude, his hands are big enough to palm your whole face. He's a short guy, but he's covered with tattoos and he's worked outside his whole life. And so he's a rough guy. The first time he did it made me laugh so hard. He goes, yeah, this one's the gay cowboy. And he just did one of these for a second. And I was like, ah. So that's why we call it that. That it drives Pat out of his fucking mind.
Love it.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
Actually, we wouldn't even. So the way that we do this is straight up Dog Brother Martial Arts. So this is more one to irritate Jeff, the other guy, because he's willing to accept that. Pat is not. So your first hand, same idea. You're attacking his stick, right? You're hitting his stick down. Then this one comes out to block, and then you strike through.
Oh.
So 1, 2, 3. So whereas before we were hitting this side, that side, now we're going this side, this side, this side.
Excuse me. Let me write down Gay Cowboy Sinawali on my notes.
Gay Cowboy Sinawali. That's its fucking official name in Foxhound martial arts. We're not calling it something else. This is Mike Lanier's Gay Cowboy. So, I'm telling him about it. I'm gonna be like, hey, motherfucker, you are immortalized in the Gay Cowboy. So around your head.
I keep hitting myself in the back.
Just just put this stick down at your side for a minute. Put the bottom stick low. Yeah. Strike and around your head. Strike and around your head.
There we go.
Yep. There you go. Yep. So, and you'll see guys run it like, yeah. Yep. 1, 2, 3.
It's always easier for me to visualize hitting something. If not, I'm just fucking swinging and distance control.
Yeah.
Oh. You see, I fuck it up right there.
Yep. There you go. 1, 2, 3. Yep. Yep. And same from the other side. Practice both sides. And this is another one. If we were doing it in person, it would be easier to teach. Yeah. Yep.
And then, yeah. All right.
It works pretty good. Like 60% of the time, it works every time.
Every time. Yeah. Great.
I mean, it works pretty good. Guys that have seen it aren't going to let you do it probably. Or maybe they will, like maybe they eat it. Depends on how aggressively you run it. So the way that I'm showing you these, the way to make it work is in a drive-by. So you do this on the run. You'd run by the guy and keep going usually. So there's some different, or you'd be running it usually like this, one way or the other. So your opponent is here. You're either going to run this way or this way, depending on which foot is forward. So now we're going to get a little into theory. So this might go a little off the rails. Hold on. Sorry. I was just Hi, buddy. Loki's still all stoned.
Lucky dude.
Yeah, he's all fucked up. Here you go, bud. There's the window for you. So, if you're looking at your opponent, right, and he's standing with his left side forward, like this, right? You
Okay.
are gonna run towards his inside. You mirror his lead. So what you were doing, stand back facing me for a sec. Right? We both have our left side forward. Switch. Go right side. Yeah. So what you want to do is you want to mirror his lead. Right? Now, load your hands up.
Closed or open?
You wouldn't necessarily fight like this, but for the sake of the drill, no, your other side. Yeah.
Oh, that's awkward.
Well, right. You do it out of
But
something like this. But you're gonna come. Your right hand is gonna strike my stick, right?
Uh-huh.
Like that, right? Your left hand is gonna block. Now your right hand is gonna come out and hit me. Yeah. And you're gonna do it as you go to the inside of me, right? Because you're gonna hit this one down and this one's passed. And essentially I'm like this. So your third shot should be free. Yeah.
Okay.
First one hits my stick down, second one blocks my stick. Right. So here, because we're doing that backhand at the end, you've got a couple of options of like what your footwork can do. You can either do like a sawtooth or you can continue past. Yeah, see, you seem like you want to like step back and make it into sort of a sawtooth motion, which is fine. Or you could do it as you run past. So you hit down, you hit out, and then you maybe clip them in the back of the head on your way out.
Yeah. So when you say drive-by, I've seen people do it. You're literally just kind of hitting them and running away. Kind of 1, 2, 3 later, bro.
Yes. Yep.
All right.
Yep. Because you don't want to get hit. Like, I mean, obviously there's a level of like you're gonna get hit sometimes, but you don't want to get hit. Why the fuck would you want to get hit with a stick? It's not a punch.
Yeah, I'm not trying to go toe to toe.
Well, there's guys who do MMA that get into like wars all the time and they're really exciting to watch. Well, those guys are going to be retarded when they're old. Did you see what happened to guys like Muhammad Ali when like he couldn't fucking write his signature anymore? That's not a good thing. Or your local football club, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And I know you're in Miami, but the Bucs are going to the Super Bowl. Guess who shouldn't? Rob fucking Gronkowski shouldn't, because that guy.
How old is he?
He's not that old. Gronk's like 30, but he retired. He retired 2 years ago because he's been hit in the head 1,000 fucking times. And then Brady decided to go like rack up one more Super Bowl for himself just to show the world he could do it. And he was sick of Belichick. And Gronk was like, Gronk play too. Well, Gronk shouldn't fucking play too. Gronk should be done. He's been getting slammed in his dome since he was a little kid. And he didn't have all that many brain cells to lose to begin with. Like, you're not talking about a Rhodes Scholar here. You're talking a fucking moron who catch the ball.
Oh, man.
Oh, I mean, hey, listen, I'm rooting against Tom Brady just because I really like angry Gisele Bündchen. His wife gives great interviews after he loses. I don't know why New England sports media would do it, but they would interview his wife a lot after he would lose because she would be such a cunt.
I'm going to watch that. I don't follow sports at all, but I'm going to check that out just because I know who Gisele is anyway.
Tom Brady's married to Gisele Bündchen, the granddaughter of a Nazi.
Supermodel.
Right. Yeah, she's German from Brazil. Jeez, I wonder how that happened. How
Submarines.
how did we get to Brazil? Like, Grandpa
Crazy.
went on a long vacation in the 40s. He just never went back. Yeah. And her genes are pretty perfect. One might even call them Ubermenschen.
Dude, that's
Anyway.
Dr. Evil, yeah?
Well, that was a little combination of maybe Dr. Evil and Dr. Strangelove, because he was a Nazi scientist. You ever see that movie? It's an old, I forget, Stanley Kubrick.
No.
It's a Cold War movie, but part of the joke is Operation Paperclip, all the Nazi scientists that we stole. So Dr. Strangelove takes place in the 50s.
Uh-huh.
He's this German scientist, and he's in a wheelchair, and he's like this, but every once in a while he can't help himself. He just pops up out of his wheelchair and does the Nazi
No.
but he'll grab his arm and shove it down and like nobody saw me. Oh, dude, it fucking kills me. It kills me.
Oh, I can't wait to see that. That sounds hilarious.
So, anyway, Giselle, they'll interview her after a loss and be like, so what do you think happened? And she'll go, I'll tell you what happened. My husband can't throw the ball and catch it. Oh, dude, she's savage. It's so funny.
That's awesome.
I want him to lose just so Giselle gets one more shot at giving a bitchy Super Bowl loss interview. It's so good.
Get your last one. Make it count.
This could be the last one, exactly, because he's 60. But anyway, that's so I'll probably wrap it at Gay Cowboy because that's a lot of material.
Gonna wrap it at Gay Cowboy.
Yeah, I'm wrap it up at the Gay Cowboy. So, because that's, I think, there's no way I would make it through. This is like 2 classes worth of shit for somebody that's never seen any of it. Like we kind of went through fast. Plus, you can train this stuff on your own. I'm gonna I'll have time before I leave to upload it. I will put this one on Drive because we were smoking a bunch of weed at the beginning. So what I did was I created a YouTube channel that I'm only gonna put these videos on, and they're all gonna be unlisted, but they won't be private. So anyone that's taken my classes can watch any of them.
Yeah. Cool.
But yeah, so I'll put this one on the Drive.
Did we start? Yeah.
Yeah, I don't give a fuck. But
I actually don't care.
Okay, that's fine too then.
If anything, I'm just gonna lie and say it's CBD.
Yeah, it's
That's legal, bro.
This is my CBD joints, and then we'll just forget about this last part where we're talking about how we're gonna lie about it. So
class is over.
Is the end of the video where these jokers are fucking anyway.
Oh man,
you snapped out the 2 knives. Guess what works with this? 2 knives.
That's
clearing.
Exactly why I'm trying to learn this.
Yeah. Also though, don't stab yourself in the forearms. Maybe
look, bro.
Trainers.
You said don't be a pussy. You're the one.
Okay.
You said,
well then, you know what?
Don't be a pussy. Use a sharp one.
Yeah, super glue and some duct tape real close. In case you gotta just close it up real fast. You got your kit.
This is my dog brother's medical kit. It's not my TCCC. It's not my tactical. This is for stick fighting.
Stick fighting.
Super glue and butterfly stitches.
Yep, exactly.
And duct tape.
Yep, and duct tape. That's mine's in my backpack. But yep. Cool. So work that asterisk with the open, and then start to work aspects of it with the Sinawali, right? So do it from the open stance just to warm yourself up, the 1, 2, 1, 2 as you step with the same side, right? And then start to break it into its components. There's the female triangle, the male triangle, and the horizontal. Step lateral, throw Sinawali. Step back, throw Sinawali.
When you upload this, I'm gonna record and put it on my cell phone, the clip of you doing it in the middle, because that was throwing me off. To do the whole Sinawali with the footwork was kind of, yeah, that threw me off just a little bit.
Yeah, we can work more on that stuff. So like you know, you said you're not all that interested in the double sticks, like overall, but you'll find there's some really cool shit that comes out of this stuff. It's
This lesson just changed that. I
Yeah.
like it now.
cool. And you know, you can do it with two swords. It works. And once you kind of put it together, you go, maybe they could have done dual wielding in history. Because like if you're doing this with good body mechanics, like, it's pretty legit, but it definitely works with two sticks.
Yeah.
I've seen it work many times for many people. Anyway, man, I'm gonna hit the bricks and get myself moving. I'm gonna try your ice and heat back to back real quick before I head to work for sure.
Do like 15 minutes of it, dude. As hot as you can tolerate, and just like 5-minute heat, 5 ice. That
Okay.
should do some. It's like icy hot. You know, that's why they invented icy hot.
Yeah.
People don't have
Oh,
time
yeah.
for that shit.
Dude, I've got icy hot, I've got Tiger Balm, I call it the Italian shit. It's this stuff that my friend is a stewardess and flight attendant, and she brings it back from Italy because they can get it over the counter there. Where here it's prescription. I forget what it's called. The brand's like Emil Gel or something like that, but it's like a topical thing. I'm almost out of the Italian shit. And then I have
Like lidocaine sort of stuff.
Yeah, it's not quite as good as lidocaine, but it works pretty good. And then I've got 2 different people's blends of Jiao. Dita Jiao, are you familiar with? It's like a Chinese herbal liniment thing. I don't have any Thai oil, but I'm about to order some today. Like I got all the shit to rub on. If you put it all on at the same time, you smell horrible. But like one at a time,
Nice.
it's too much. You get all lightheaded. It's like mixing bleach and ammonia. Like although the one that Kaju Dog made makes you smell like an Indian dish. It's a little.
That's
there's
great.
A lot of
I love
spice.
curry.
There's a lot of spice. You better love curry if you put this shit on. Anyway, dude, I'm gonna hit the road. Keep practicing this shit. I say Saturday night if you're into it. I'm definitely gonna do it. Ryan probably wants to do Saturday night too. So
Nice.
fuck yeah. And then I'm gonna do the 2 on Sunday. So
Awesome, dude. Sounds great. I much appreciated, bro.
fuck yeah. Have a good day.
Thank you. You as well. Hope you feel
I'll
better.
send you the link to this as soon as it's up.
Perfect. Thank you, bro.
Later.
Later.